Welcome back to Autodesk Maya. In this tutorial we're going to discover the multi-cut tool. So I'm going to add a polygon cube here in the stage and then hit F to frame in on it. And as I look at this, if I want to divide it up into different categories, different meshes, I can always go to the poly input and in here subdivide equally with the middle click of the mouse. But the problem is that's very specific, very even sort of divisions. What if I want to divide it up differently? Well, you have your insert edge loop tool, which we just talked about before, which basically you can drag edges. But what if you want these edges to go in a different kind of way? I mean, by default this thing always goes around the entire edge. Well, that's where the multi-cut tool comes into play. I'm going to undo by just hitting Control Z or Command Z and click out in the arrow to escape out. Go back to object mode. And let's discover the multi-cut tool. So I have it in my custom shelf here, but it is under the mesh tools, and there it is, the multi-cut tool. And if we click on it, the way it works, if I hover over an edge, I can basically click anywhere I want along here. If I hover towards the point, I can start from there. So I could click here and then move over to another point and click, and then to complete my action, just right click. So I'm left clicking to create the start point and then right click to finish off. So if I wanted to do like an X across here, I could click on this point, left click again, move my mouse over. Now it's not going to allow me to go over here. It will, but it won't be a perfect line cut. Watch, you'll see here in a sec. If I left click and then right click with a mouse, you can see it separate out as two separate lines. So it is smart enough to kind of figure it out that, hey, this is two separate lines instead of one solid line. So it does divide it up in the point there. So you can do very organic kind of cuts. So I could click here, again left click here, left click there, and pretty much keep clicking until you get to an end point, wherever that may be. If I want it to be end here, I just again left click and then right click to finish off my my selection. Now what this allows you to do, just by left clicking again to activate, and it'll tell you if you can't do it, but I can keep going and going and going here, which is kind of fun. And then right click to finish off, is that you get these unique shapes. So if I click on the arrow tool, escape out, and then right click, go to face mode, you'll see I have these unique polygons I could select and do an extrude. Now they're not always necessarily going to be 4 solid polygons, so you definitely have to think about what you're doing and perhaps do some work. But regardless, you can still have fun with them, trying out different things. So do understand that you can really create some very interesting geometry, but it might not be animation friendly or standard friendly in terms of the modeling, but it can be fun. So let me go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to add another cube here, and I just want to explore how would you cut across, straight across from here to here to here to here, and make sure it's even. Because right now if I use the multi-cut tool, let me find it again here. Here it is. If I click, I can try and find the middle point, but it's not going to be exact. And if I wanted to do something like this and have this perfect sort of diamond shape in here, it's not going to quite work out. So I'm going to undo that just by Control Z, whoops, and bring back a cube again. The way to do this is to first scale it up in an ortho view. So I'm going to snap to an ortho view here, which is the front, and I'm going to scale it up so I get the grid basically to help me out. So if I scale it up to here, where the end points in the middle are lining up, it makes it real easy. So watch, I'll click on the multi-cut tool, and now I can really find that center line, right, very easily with the grid, and just click and click. And if it's not exactly perfect, it's okay, but if I really want it to be perfect, I could enable snapping, or I can just simply move the line after it's done. So once I finish left clicking and I'm done, I just right click to finish off. And now I can click on my arrow tool, right click, go to vertex mode, and I can select that vertex, hit W, and basically line it up however I want. In fact, if I have snapping here, it should snap to that point on the grid right here. There we go, I had the wrong one on. So that one, so now it's snapped on there. So any of these you should be able to snap into place. And I haven't tried it yet, but let's see if the multi-cut tool will actually cut that way too, after I double check these. So these are all good now. Let's go to object mode and then switch to that multi-cut tool. And let's just see if I try and click right here. Yeah, it still enables you not to click on the grid point. So, the multi-cut tool, sometimes you have to cut and then afterwards move the points to wherever you want them to be on the grid. So do realize that you basically have the freedom to cut anywhere you like, and then afterwards you could right click, go to vertex mode, and literally snap these into points wherever you want on the grid. So if I wanted this point to be right down here, I could do that very easily. Even the internal point here isn't on a grid line, but if I move it around a couple of points here, you can see it snapping to the grid. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. You can have lots of fun exploring the multi-cut tool. It will definitely give you tons of possibilities in creating unique shapes. Again, if you want that cool, sort of diamond shape, do it in a grid view, and then just basically, snap the points to where we need to go. So until next time, see you soon in Autodesk Maya. Cheers.